Virtua Racing Flatout would be Volume 8 of the SEGA Ages 2500 series that would see a release in Japan for the PlayStation 2 that would be released in 2004. And this game would act as a ground up remake of the original game and would be the case for many of the iconic arcade and console entries that were developed by SEGA within the series themselves. So this series would give fans or even new gamers the chance to play some iconic classics but from a modern perspective, and Virtua Racing is one of the games to be updated in this new format at the time. This game was also added to the SEGA Classics collection that would have been released in other regions back in the day, also that had a number of other iconic remakes with Super Monaco GP, Alien Syndrome, Outrun, Golden Axe, among many others, even Space Harrier. They would all see a remaster with updated visuals and 3D graphics that weren't possible in bygone eras. So with this latest edition, it tries to keep with the concept of the traditional polygonal style graphics that would have been seen in the early version of Virtua Racing, but the graphics are pretty much on the more modern spectrum where they're a lot smoother and just feels generally a lot more up to date, with the visuals are improved with better draw distance in terms of the graphics, the level design. There's additional tracks and cars, and this time around you can unlock additional features as you play through the various championships that have been added into the game that wasn't in the original. But in saying that, over the years Virtua Racing has seen multiple different versions of the game be released on different platforms, even going back as early as the Sega Mega Drive, as the Sega Mega Drive version was one of the first full 3D games to ever be released on the 16-bit console, which was a revelation for its time. But then there would also be other ports of the game that would have been released for the Mega Drive or Genesis add-ons, such as the 32X and the Sega CD, each with their own unique versions that added different aesthetics and elements and features to the games. Each version of the game was somewhat different than the last, with the likes of the 32X version and Sega CD versions would give you access to additional modes and even different types of cars to play. Like with the 32X version you could play as even NASCAR style cars and even different types of vehicles that wouldn't have been seen even in the original arcade. And with this latest edition with Virtua Racing Flatout, again improves on that somewhat, but adds even more in-depth championship modes that you will unlock additional cars and tracks the more you play and achieve victory as you play. You'll be able to acquire many of the game's newest features and items through your experiences. So again, it's just another fun classic, and it is another great addition to this series of remastered games that would have been seen on the PlayStation 2. And if you're a fan of Virtua Racing, there's no reason why you shouldn't check out this version of the game as well, as it is an all-time classic, and regardless of whichever version that you play, the one thing that it does do is it keeps with the same nostalgic elements that was so popular in the arcade original and even on the console ports from way back in the mid-90s. So I would love to know your thoughts of Virtua Racing Flatout for the PS2 if you have played it, and what do you think of the game overall. Do you think this is a good solid version of Virtua Racing, or do you prefer the other versions that were released on other consoles way back in the day? I'd love to hear whatever stories you do have of this game, so be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be updated of future videos. And if you would like to see more content around other types of arcade racers that we're also seeing on the PS2, then you can check out the playlist on screen to see more of those games in action. And I will see you all in the next one.